Good evening, Reds. This is Stephen Howson. This is Full Time Devils. And Manchester United are through to the next round in the FA Cup after successfully putting away Huddersfield in a pretty professional performance. Now, we did play 4-3-3. We had no Pogba due to an illness. Excuse me. Today, so we had no Paul Pogba, out with an illness, supposedly. And we played a midfield three. We played 4-3-3. The sort of formation, sort of lineup that a lot of United fans have been calling out for ages. But for some reason, we did it without using Paul Pogba, which is the ultimate trolling, because it's Paul Pogba that we want to see benefit from doing that sort of thing. So let's start at the beginning then. So United score an extremely early goal. Lukaku gets a goal, a fantastic goal, early doors. And then what happens is United are forced back by Huddersfield. Now, a lot of people will say United took our foot off the gas. I would disagree with those people. I would say what happened is Huddersfield, being 1-0 down inside the first 3 minutes, know that they have to start throwing everything at it. This is sometimes what happens in a game of football. United then are probably going to be fairly conservative and look to try and hit them on the counter only and try and get men behind the ball, because if they score a goal, the momentum is with them and then you can get quickly overrun and you can end up losing the game and the game can get away from you and all that kind of stuff. It's a knockout competition. There's nothing to be benefited from by trying to keep it tight and then nick something at the end. Huddersfield, if they want to progress, I've got to go and do that aggressively on the front foot. So I thought that was what Huddersfield was trying to do. And I thought, an absolute credit to Huddersfield, they did that. Now, I saw some frailties in United's side today. They definitely targeted Luke Shaw, who wasn't getting a hell of a lot of protection from Alexis Sanchez down that left-hand side. I thought Ashley Young was extremely poor on the right-hand side. I thought he offered next to nothing with the ball at his feet and was worse than it being just a traffic cone in defence. He was totally bypassed and offered nothing. I thought Chris Smalling dealt with a lot more aggressively than we normally see him do. I thought Lindelof was all right, but it was the midfield. We sort of bypassed the midfield. When we had the ball, we went right through it, and when we was defending, there was obviously their screening, but from just thinking about the game right now, I thought it was too easy to come through the midfield. A midfield three is meant to offer you, particularly in those sort of circumstances, and particularly with the three midfielders that we had selected, essentially 3 number 6s, really. 3 big lads, 3 number 6s. You expect them to be a solid unit of 3, and it wasn't really the case. They were sort of a little bit run ragged. Could have been down to the fact that three's never played together. Could have been fact that Matic arguably needs a rest and was getting dragged all over the place. Carrick hasn't had a lot of games. There could be a number of mitigating factors for it, but the one thing that's worth talking about is how that midfield 3 didn't really manage to get a stamp or authority on the game. When we did have the ball, we looked to break quickly and we looked to use the likes of Juan Mata and we looked to get it up to Lukaku quickly and for him to bring in others to the game. I thought Lukaku's overall play today was absolutely fantastic. And if I had to highlight one thing about Lukaku's play that really stood out for me today, it was the second goal that he scored. So he starts to move inside his own half and he plays a wonderful ball across field, diagonal ball to Sanchez, who returns the favour with another fantastic ball. And all this time, Huddersfield players are trying to track him and trying to get in front of him and trying to block him. And Lukaku picks the ball up, and he's got a lot of work to do from the time he picks the ball up to the time that he runs it in. And he runs it in, holding the defender off, and then slots it home with such an audacity that I loved it. Now, the 2 goals today I think are very important for us to talk about, because the 2 goals that we saw today from Lukaku, both the times the ball was either played to his feet or played just ahead of him for him to get onto. And I think that's where you get the best Lukaku. I'm not really a fan of Lukaku having to play against the run of play and hold it up Mark Hughes style. I don't think that's really his game. I definitely think he works when you can put the ball into a channel for him or get it down the centre behind the back foot and allow him to run onto it and use his pace. I think that's where he's best. Well, don't worry, we're going to talk about VAR because that was an absolute shambles. I'm going to get to that in a second. But I just think credit where it's due. I think Chris Smalling deserves a little bit of it today. And I thought Romelu Lukaku, who's been on the brunt of a lot of shit recently, deserves the man of the match and all plaudits for his overall gameplay. Not just because he scored 2 goals. The 2 goals that he scored were brilliant. But it was what he did around those 2 goals that I think is worthy of pointing out. Right, let's talk about this absolute shit show that is VAR. So this is the first time Manchester United have been a victim. I mean, this is the first time that Manchester United have been in a game that's been affected by VAR. And victim is the right word here. So the terminology about using VAR is that it's there to correct, listen, there to correct clear and obvious mistakes by the officials. Now, if you need to tell me it takes you 3/4 of an hour, because they only sort of really figured it out by the end of the 90 minutes. If you tell me it takes you 45 minutes to come up with the right decision after looking at it from a million different angles, drawing lines across the pitch and going, oh, well, I reckon there's about half a centimetre of his knee that's offside there, then he's not offside, is he? Clear and obvious. It's not fucking clear and it's not fucking obvious if you have to get a million different rulers out and draw shit all over the pitch to find out. It was a good call from the linesman in the first instance, and then you got VAR sticking its fucking nose in and getting it completely wrong. It was absolutely pointless. It was a great ball from Ashley Young, who played it just into the path of Juan Mata, and he was shown great feet to take it round the goalkeeper. For me, the linesman was bang on. He's like, yeah, it's in line. Sound. Play on. Why are we pulling it back when it's a 50-50 decision? A clear and obvious one is when someone's 20 yard offside or they catch it and throw it in the net. When you've got to start getting the fucking protractors out and start using measuring tape, you've broken football. Rugby league has been turned for the worse. I'm a big rugby league fan, and it's been absolutely turned for the worse because of the introduction of the video ref. Because what happens now is a try that would have been scored for every single under-15s game in the country now has to go to the video ref. Why? Because I saw something about 6 passes ago that I just want to check. But if you didn't have the video technology, you wouldn't go back to check it. And that's what ruins rugby league. Now you can't just start celebrating a goal when a goal's gone in or when a try's been scored, because you have to go, wait, what's the video ref saying? And that is the best part about football. Without goals, football is just, it's an inexplicable pastime for a load of weirdos. The goals are what makes football. That explosion of emotion when you score a goal is what football is all about. Think about the 1999 final. If Ole Gunnar Solskjaer puts it in the back of the net and we all have to go, wait, is it a goal? The explosion, or Michael Owen's winner against Manchester City in Fergie's last season, or second to last season. Those explosions of emotion and raw emotion is where football is the beautiful game, because that's what we want to see. We see the back of the net bulge and we go fucking bananas. That is what it's all about. It's not about always being the absolutely scientifically correct, because you take those human errors out of football and nothing ever happens. We live in the errors. We live in the mistakes. Do you know what? Whether the linesman gets it right, whether the linesman gets it wrong, those mistakes are part and parcel of the game. Now, I've got people in there saying the VAR decision was right. No, it wasn't. You misunderstand. Just because you can go, actually, yeah, Juan Mata's legs are about a millimetre offside, so there it's right. No, because the fact that you went to the VAR is wrong in the first place. So you start off wrong because it wasn't meant to have been used unless it was a clear and obvious mistake by the officials. It's not a clear and obvious mistake when you have to get 45 minutes of looking down this pissing line to see whether it's the correct decision or not. That's not a clear and obvious mistake. A clear and obvious mistake is when Juan Mata catches it and rolls it into the net and you go, wait a minute, something a little bit fishy about that goal. Let's have a look. Yeah, you can't do that. That's a clear and obvious mistake. When it takes you 45 fucking minutes to determine whether it was correct or not correct, it's not clear and it's not obvious. That's the most basic premise in this. So you can't say the VAR decision was right because the decision to use the VAR in the first place was bullshit. VAR is going to absolutely ruin this game. It really is. And I'm not one of people that says, oh, you can't change it, you can't introduce technology, this, that and the other. You can, but you've got to use it in the right way. And rugby league has been absolutely decimated by the use of VAR and video ref technology. Basic stuff that you've got to trust the officials for goes out of the window because you want to use your shiny new toy. And that's the problem with it, man. Someone saying, calm down, we won. Fuck you, don't tell me what to do. How about that? Right, let's see what the comments are saying. VAR is to clear the doubt if it's offside. This way, inches, and you would check whether it's right or not. Yeah, you can't get it about that. Boom, there you go. Mursab, sorry. Drogba's goal at OT a while ago, the one that they won the league on, was a clear and obvious mistake, for example. Correct. It was feet over, and you go, as soon as you see it on TV, you go, oh my God, that's offside. If decision-making was better, we would have scored a few more. Quite possibly, yeah. Good to see Angel Gomez on the bench. Good to see Ethan Hamilton getting a mention as well amongst the subs. That was good. Surely the ball is only played when it leaves his foot, so Mata was on. I mean, see, here's the thing. We're still arguing the toss a little bit about whether it was offside or onside. And that just shows you how it wasn't a clear and obvious mistake. It's a nightmare. The time taken to make a decision was just dodgy. Again, I agree with that. Yeah, it was taking far too long. If it's a clear and obvious mistake, you can glance at it and go, sound, here's the correct result. When you need 27 people, the rule book, and start needing to get rulers out, it's not a clear and obvious mistake. JMW says, great performance, we need to get the defence higher up the pitch. Lades it in lethargic defenders, not get up the pitch quick enough to close the spaces. We have fast defenders, why no high line? I think we got pushed back, mate, I think, to be honest. I don't think it was a case of that we wanted to just sit off. Huddersfield had a high press and that caused us problems and put us under pressure. I think it was a good performance from Huddersfield, in all honesty. Talk about how good Lukaku was. Sort of touched on that a little bit earlier. Anat says, like cricket, VAR should only be allowed to use 2 or 3 teams per team or times per team, so it will make it better. Why introduce it when the majority are against it? Why fix what's not broke? Sometimes it's just people justifying, people not just being able to justify what they're doing. Young, not a defender, says Ross. Smalling was good today, says Wasim. Bay back, yes. The word was that Bay was only going to be coming back in time for the Sevilla game, and I guess that's probably correct, because I don't really think you can count that, but it was nice to see him get a little bit of a run out at least today. That was good to see. United should start playing the same 3 defensive midfielder formation. What? No, I'm not really sure about that one. A 6 and 2 8s is happy days. Why isn't Kahinde in the team over Hamilton? You'd have to ask Jose Mourinho, mate. To be honest, I don't honestly think either of them are going to make it at United, so I don't know. Matic back to his best. Matic, I thought, still doesn't look quite right, to be honest, today. Is Rashford injured? Yes, Herrera and Rashford have picked up a muscle injury a couple of weeks ago. Who are we hoping for in the draw? I think the draw's like right now, I think. I'm not bothered. Anyone will take. And if you're a season ticket holder, United will be taking the money tonight. Right, I'm going to wrap it up because I think my voice is going to go. So thank you guys for tuning in. All the fan cams will be on the way from Huddersfield very soon, so make sure to keep it lots of Full-Time Devils for all of those. Hit that subscribe button. Come and follow me on my own channel as well, where you can get all sorts of stuff, including a bit more longer form podcasts and stuff like that. Just search Stephen Howson FC on YouTube and come and find me. I'm nearly at 50k. You can help me get there. So that'll do for me today, and I'll see you in a bit. Laters.